Apart from his natural talent and physical gifts, toughness and grit have always defined Jayson Tatum's ascension to stardom. I mean, these are the same core traits that shaped Jayson as a person, as he was born and raised in a challenging situation where the odds were heavily stacked against him. Today, join me as we dive deep into the story of the Boston Celtics superstar. At age 19 and just a couple of months away from college, Brandi Cole had found out that she was pregnant. Cole was on track to becoming a lawyer at that point in her life, so she carefully weighed the trade-off between dropping out of school so she can take care of her child full-time, or continuing to pursue her law career so she can provide a better future for both of them. Well, after considering all the possible scenarios, it was clear that dropping out wasn't an option, so she decided to take the superstar route. Jayson Tatum was born on March 3, 1998 in St. Louis, Missouri, and inspired by her newborn son, Brandi quickly got back on her feet and was already attending classes the very next week after she gave birth to him. As a single mom with no stable income, Brandi had to work multiple jobs so she could pay off her tuition and bills while providing the basic needs for her son. Though he was young at the time, Jayson vividly remembers the hardship that they went through during those chapters of their lives. It was tough. We had a lot of tough times living there. I remember the nights we wouldn't have anything to eat. But 2 doors down, a neighbor named Donna, she fed us many a night. Aside from having a hard time covering the daily necessities, Brandi also had trouble with paying rent, which almost caused them to be homeless for a time. I remember coming home and there being a pink eviction notice on the house and my mom crying the whole night. Since she could barely afford to hire a babysitter thanks to the piling expenses, Brandi would often bring Jayson along with her to classes so she could keep an eye on him while studying at law school. Here's Jayson recalling that unforgettable moment during his childhood. I remember when I was younger, I would go to college and sit in the classroom and learn with her. I was bored, she would give me snacks to eat and video games to play, but sitting there right next to her while she was taking notes, it was pretty awful. Though Brandi slowly raised Jayson, his father Justin was always just an arm's reach away whenever he needed basketball advice and someone to bond with. Back in the day, Justin played professionally in the Netherlands and Brandi would take Jayson to visit his dad overseas. When his international career was over, Jayson came back to St. Louis to pursue a career in coaching, and eventually, he also became one of Jayson's primary coaches and close confidants. Despite his parents not living under one roof, Jayson had established a good relationship with both of them while learning valuable lessons along the way. As a lawyer, Brandi taught Jayson to look out for the less fortunate as they themselves experienced what it's like to literally have nothing. Mom had me get involved in volunteer work, helping out at a homeless shelter and mentoring young student athletes in our city. I would go to their practices and games, talk to them about problems they were facing in school. Meanwhile, his dad had motivated him to put in the work by being nonchalantly hard on him. I could have 40 points and he would never clap. He would just sit there. He would even leave like I wouldn't see him after the game. Anyway, it was all grind since day one for Jayson at Chaminade Prep, and according to his coach Frank Bennett, Jayson's work ethic was on a different level for his age. I get to school about 6:30 every day, and he was here at 5:45, 6 o'clock at the latest, getting his work in. What's impressive is he did it every single day. I remember the only day he took off, it was the day after we won state. That was his only day off. With that type of approach, Jayson's game improved drastically over the years, and in his senior year, Tatum became a beast by nearly averaging 30 points a game, along with 9 boards. Aside from his insane work ethic, the reason why Tatum improved so quickly was because he was able to train with fellow NBA player Bradley Beal. Just like Tatum, Beal was also an alumni for Chaminade Prep School and was 5 years ahead of Jayson. According to Jayson's statement in a podcast interview with Draymond Green, Beal took him under his wings and played the role of big brother, whether it was on or off the court. I had a perfect role model, a perfect visualization every day of where I wanted to go and what I wanted to be. He was living proof. Getting to see him every day in the classroom, working out after practice, him dropping me off after school every day and going to the games and seeing him put on a show. It was the perfect scenario for me. I want to get where he's getting to. I get to see his everyday routine up close. I'm forever grateful for that and for being in that position. There's no doubt that Beal laid out the blueprint for Tatum in terms of developing his game to the next level, and in return, Tatum was deeply appreciative for all the learnings and lessons that he got from his big brother. He was always telling me that he wanted to do for me what nobody did for him. From that point on, I've always had nothing but love and the most respect. From day one, he always told me that he wanted me to be better than him. He wanted to show me the ins and outs, the things that he wished he knew. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Brad. As I got older, we got much closer. Brad is the big brother that I didn't have. And aside from Beal, there were other NBA personalities that helped and supported Tatum throughout his basketball journey. One of them is Larry Hughes, who was a teammate of Tatum's father in high school and college, and the other was his cousin, who turned out to be Clippers head coach, Tyronn Lue. And before I almost forget, Jaylen Brown and Tatum were drafted 1 year apart and have been teammates for 5 seasons. But before entering the NBA, JB and JT already knew each other as they were roommates when they got selected to be part of the Under Armour camp.
Together, Jaylen, back, I think it was AAU days. I mean, do you look at that photo now and be like, oh my God?
The bond and chemistry they built before entering the league could perhaps be one of the factors why the Celtics experienced so much success in the last couple of years. In an interview with Sports Illustrated, Tatum said that he already knew JB and him would click right away as they complement each other's games. It wasn't like meeting a stranger. We kind of understood early on that we were going to be relied upon heavily, even as young guys. We pushed each other. JB is much more physically gifted than I am, so I'm just playing off his athleticism and quick decisions. We feed off each other. Anyway, as a 5-star recruit out of high school, Tatum received a ton of scholarships from Division I schools in college, but he ultimately ended up as a Blue Devil where he averaged 16.8 points and 7.3 rebounds in his lone season with Duke.
Put Kennedy Meeks in more ball screen situations, make him guard. Tatum! His size and length. Jones has it. Tatum finishes.
With this unique combination of size, athleticism, and skill, Tatum easily barged to the top of his draft class, and in 2017, he was picked 3rd overall by the Boston Celtics. ESPN analyst Jay Billis had high regard for Tatum during draft night, and here's his take about Tatum's promising potential. Skill-wise, he's ridiculous. I think he's the most talented player in the country. He's built for basketball. Markelle Fultz may be ahead of him on the draft boards, but I believe Tatum's more talented. He can guard multiple positions. He's 6'8" and long. He can do more long-term than anyone in this draft. The hardest part is you're not drafting for now, you're drafting for later. And how good is Jayson going to be in 3 or 4 years? I think he's going to be kick-ass good. Well, Jay's prediction was on point because Tatum already has 3 All-Star appearances under his name, and now he's slugging it out with Steph and the Warriors with a chance to grab his first ever championship at just 24 years old. I'm pretty sure that Jay and other analysts have come to the same conclusion that he'll be good by year 3 or 4, but I highly doubt that they predicted Tatum would be this good, like MVP and championship caliber type of good, at this stage in his young career. Anyway, I'm going to pivot here for a bit. Jayson Tatum's favorite player growing up was none other than Kobe Bryant. And there's a good reason, because this dude was a beast. I mean, he did things that no other humans would possibly think, and you can check it out for yourself right here. There's a reason that Kobe's one of the best ever, and I don't want to spoil it for you. Just click the video, guys, and like always, I'll see you on the other side.